My children were instructed, scrub the restrooms, while my sister's kids unwrapped fresh Macbooks beneath the fur. Favored Children Game presents. Yours perform tasks, my mother stated. My son questioned, is this usual? I replied, not for much longer. That evening, I reassigned the property deed to my own name. The following morning, everyone had half an hour to vacate. Can you imagine being told, right to your face, that your own kids are the help, while others are golden children? What do you do when your own mother, your family, uses Christmas itself to deliver a brutal, heartbreaking message about where you and your children stand? I had to choose, keep the peace, or finally fight back for my kids. My name's Arnold. I'm 37. I drive a taxi in a mid-sized city. I'm a husband to my incredible wife, Tamara, though I usually just call her Mira, and a dad to two amazing kids, Max, who's 12, and Ava, 9. I work nights mostly. Less traffic, better tips, and a lot of drunk confessions I can usually forget by sunrise. I know every shortcut, every pothole in this city. I can tell from a passenger's first "hey man" whether I'm getting a tip or a story I don't want. On paper, I'm the solid one in our family. I don't miss payments. I don't miss birthdays. I fix what's broken and keep receipts in a shoebox with rubber bands. It's always been that way. Christmas Eve at my mother's house has always been a lot. Loud, cramped, and, if I'm being honest, a little mean. This year, I parked my cab 2 blocks away to save the good spots for my sister Leia's giant SUV. Mira walked beside me, carrying a tray of cookies, her way of bringing a little extra warmth. The kids held hands, tiny figures against the icy sidewalk. Inside, the tree was massive, practically groaning under the weight of presents. Metallic bows, professionally printed tags, fancy script. My mom, of course, was already in charge, waving a wooden spoon like it was a royal scepter. You're late, she said, not even bothering to look at us. Coats in the guest room. Don't slam the door. Shoes off. Hi, Mom, I said, trying to be cheerful. Don't track slush, she added. My sister, Leia, was already settled deep into the recliner, like it was her personal throne. Her husband, Jason, stood by the fireplace, explaining equity to no one in particular. Their twins were under the tree, tearing into boxes, shaking them, guessing. The pile on their side looked like something out of a glossy magazine, a stock photo of spoiled Christmas. The pile on our side? It looked like a polite afterthought. Arnold, Leia drawled, not moving an inch. How's the taxi driving? Jason chuckled, a smug little grin that said he thought he'd really gotten one over on me. You know, Uber's where the money is now. Thanks, I said, trying to keep my voice even. I'll write that down. Mira squeezed my hand, a silent plea. Let it go, she whispered. I tried. God, I really tried. Dinner was dinner. My mom told Max to stop wolfing his food while she handed Jason a second plate. She told Ava to be helpful and sent her to fetch napkins from the garage. She asked Leia how the twins' enrichment schedule was going, then rolled her eyes when I mentioned Max had joined the chess club. Then came the gifts. The twins ripped through wrapping paper like raccoons, shrieking with every new discovery. MacBook, another one, and Grandma, you're the best. They hadn't even finished unboxing before Leia pulled out her phone. What do we say to Grandma for your education tools? She cooed, filming them. Meanwhile, my mom clapped her hands twice, loud. Max, Ava, she said, her voice sharp. You two can help me real quick. The bathrooms need a touch-up before dessert. Grab the scrub brushes from under the sink. Silence. Max looked at me, his eyes wide. Ava blinked, her small face confused. I thought I'd misheard. Leia definitely hadn't. She laughed. Jason just grinned, a silent accomplice. My mom pointed toward the hall, like a traffic cop directing them to their fate. Golden children get gifts, she said, a chilling smile on her face. Yours get chores. It wasn't a slip of the tongue. It was a joke she'd been waiting to deliver, a policy stated out loud. Max whispered, barely audible. Is this normal? Something in my chest went cold. Frozen. Not for long, I heard myself say. Arnold, my mother snapped, her eyes narrowing. Don't be dramatic. They're learning responsibility. I looked at the massive tree. At the twins, still peeling plastic off expensive laptops. At my son, still standing there, a scrub brush hanging from his hand like a heavy question mark. I swallowed the first thing I wanted to say, then the second. What finally came out was quiet. Deadly quiet. Max, Ava. Sit down. My mother's eyebrow shot up. Excuse me. Sit. I said again, my gaze locked on my children. They Saturday, Mom. I added, just as calm, just as steady. Dessert can wait. That night, after the Be Gratefuls, after the We're Family, Arnold, after we loaded our smaller gifts and what little dignity we had left into the trunk of my cab, I lay awake, staring at the streetlight pattern on our bedroom ceiling. At 2:13 a.m., I got up. I opened my laptop and moved a document from a folder labeled Someday into one called Today. I transferred the deed of the house, my mother's house, the one I'd refinanced for her, back into my name. I didn't tell Mira yet. I just watched the progress bar crawl across the screen. It wasn't revenge. Not really. It was a seatbelt clicking into place. At 6:30 a.m., I brewed coffee, woke the kids, and told everyone to dress warm. By 7 a.m. on Christmas morning, when the family text thread started dinging with "come over for brunch and bring the pie," I typed my reply. Come to our house instead. You have 30 minutes to pack what's yours. And I meant every single word of it. People think taxi work is chaos. It isn't. It's patterns. Wednesday nights are airport runs. Nurses getting off shift. Paydays, tips are bigger. First of the month, silence. Everyone's broke. You learn to read a city's moods. I learned to read my family's moods the same way, except there was never a meter to tell me when enough was enough. Dad left when I was 14. He needed space, he said, and found it with a woman who sold timeshares. After that, I was the car guy, the bulb changer, the furniture mover. Man of the house before I could even drive legally. When my mom needed a ride, I came. When the roof leaked, I patched it. When Leia ran up a credit card in college buying white boots and concert tickets, I took a second shift to help her reset. She cried, said I was her hero. She posted a photo of her coffee with foam hearts, and forgot to tag me. When Mira and I got married, we did it cheap and happy. City Hall. A bakery cake. 10 friends. 2 songs played off a cracked phone. I drove the night of our wedding, because rent wasn't going to pay itself. Mira just said, "We're fine." She meant it. She's the kind of person who can make a gourmet pizza from a weird fridge and call it fancy. It didn't matter how careful we were. The numbers were always tight. Taxi medallion debt. Don't even get me started. Insurance that crept up for no reason. Tires, brakes, new wipers because of the winter salt. But we still saved a little every week. When Max was born, I put crisp 10s and 20s into an envelope. Labeled Future. When Ava was born, I labeled another Future too, because it made me laugh at 3 a.m. between feeds. Meanwhile, my mother discovered Facebook Marketplace and hosting. She loved presentations. Easter brunch with place cards, Thanksgiving with themes, Christmas with matching pajamas. It looked good in photos. It looked less good when she'd lean across the table and say, "Arnold, you'll bring the ham, the dessert, and the folding chairs. Leia's got enough on her plate." Like what? I asked once stupidly. "She's planning the twins' enrichment, Arnold," Mom said, as if it was obvious. "You know how involved that is." I paid for the ham, the dessert, the gas. Leia showed up late. Jason opened wine like he'd invented it and told my son, "Money comes when you think rich." I wanted to say, "Money comes when you work," but the words dried on my tongue. The pattern: keep the peace, minimize the scene, drive home in silence. 2 years ago, my mom asked me to temporarily put the house in my name to help her refinance. "You're the stable one," she'd said, like it was a compliment, not a burden. I read every word. I even asked a paralegal cousin to look it over. It was clean. No secrets. The plan was to help her right-size the mortgage, get better rates. We did it. I babysat her printer, sat on hold with a bank where every hold music loop felt like mockery. We got her payments down by $300 a month. She thanked me with a lasagna. Later, Leia started calling the house ours. It slipped out in conversation, a tell. "You know, in our house, the light in the hall flickers. We've been thinking of repainting our kitchen." When I corrected her once, "Mom's house," she squinted like I was speaking too loudly. There were 100 little moments before the toilet brush thing. Like the baby shower where my mom made a speech about sacrifice, and somehow all the sacrifice was Leia's because she gave up Pilates. Like the month my mom asked me to drive the twins to STEM lab every Saturday morning because Leia was tapped out. I did it. Ate cold bagels in the hallway because parents weren't allowed in. Max asked if he could join. My mom said, "Oh, that's for the twins. Max can help me mow the lawn." Like the group chat where Leia posted kids manifesting Macbooks with a video of them running through an Apple store, and my mom commented, "Deserved." I typed, "We're saving for a refurbished Chromebook," then deleted it because it looked sad, even to me. The money fights were quiet. Mira would show me a spreadsheet. "We can cover orthodontics if we delay summer camp. We'll camp in the living room," I'd say. We did. The kids thought fairy lights were magic. I thought cheap extension cords were a fire hazard and left the lights on. Anyway, then came December. My mom messaged, "Don't bring gifts. We've got the big stuff handled." She added a winking emoji that made my jaw clench. "We'll bring ours anyway," I told Mira. She nodded. We wrapped thrift store books like treasures. Max picked a puzzle for the twins. Ava picked glitter pens. Mira baked cookies. "No one's leaving empty-handed on our watch," she'd said. Christmas Eve was a slow burn. One more version of the same story. Until my mom lined my kids up with scrub brushes while the twins peeled the plastic off expensive laptops and shouted, "We'll take these to grandma's so we don't scratch them." That line, "Golden children get gifts, yours get chores." It wasn't a slip. It was policy. It was the subtext printed in bold. And when Max asked, "Is this normal?" I heard every other question he'd swallowed. Is it normal that grandma forgets my birthday and remembers the twins' half-birthday? Is it normal that Aunt Leia says college is a waste when I mention a science club, then brags about the twins' gifted profile? Is it normal that Dad drives Uber secretly some weekends just so we can afford soccer cleats? No, I said. Not for long. We left early. In the car, no music. The kids stared out at the street. Mira held my hand and didn't say let it go this time. At home, I set a timer on my phone and opened everything I'd saved. The refinance documents. The clause. Leia forgot about the text where my mom wrote, "House is in your name now. Try not to sell it out from under me. LOL." She thought the LOL made it cute. It made it binding. I didn't plan to evict anyone. That wasn't the point. But I needed leverage. I needed something heavier than a toothbrush to set a boundary. I needed the pattern to end. At 2:13 a.m., I did what good sons aren't supposed to do. I protected my family from my family. I didn't invite a fight. I didn't march in shouting. I sent one message to the family thread at 7 a.m. Brunch at our house. 30 minutes to pack what's yours. If it's not yours, don't pack it. My mom replied instantly, "What are you talking about?" I typed, "Papers are signed. House title is in my name again. We're setting new ground rules. If you want to keep using storage in our garage and bedroom closets, you'll sign a simple agreement. If not, please come collect your things." 30 minutes. I attached a PDF. 1 page. Clear terms. No more keys distributed without my consent. No more borrowing my accounts. No more Arnold will pay. If they wanted to host, they could at their own address. Seconds later, my phone buzzed. "Leia, LOL. Is this a bit?" "Jason, you wouldn't." "Mom, you are ruining Christmas." Mira looked at me, her eyes questioning. "Are we doing this?" "We're doing this," I said. By 7:28 a.m., they were on my porch. Leia stepped in first, without knocking, and saw the boxes by the door with masking tape labels. Leia/Jason, seasonal decor. Mom, silverware set, plus Santa plates, miscellaneous craft bins. "Wow," Leia said, a sneer on her face. "So petty." Mom pushed past her. "Arnold," she said, her voice low and tight, venomous. "Undo whatever you did last night." I shook my head. "No," Jason smirked. "You can't just claim the house. It's in my name," I said, keeping my voice flat, dangerously calm. "You asked me to help you refinance 2 years ago. I did. Now I'm making sure my family doesn't get told to scrub toilets while your kids open laptops bought with money I don't have." Jason opened his mouth. I lifted a hand. "Don't," I said. Leia's voice went high and sharp. "You're punishing my kids." "Your kids are fine," I said, my gaze steady. "This is about boundaries." "Boundaries?" Mom repeated, like the word tasted sour. "You're ungrateful. After everything I've done." "What have you done?" I asked, still calm. "Name it." Silence. Then she went with the classic. "I raised you." "You raised me to pay," I said. Mira stepped forward, her voice firm but even. "We're not doing a screaming match here. Sign the agreement. Keep your storage here, and we'll schedule pickups when it's convenient." Don't sign? Take your things now. Either way, new rule. No keys are copied without our consent. And you don't tell our kids to clean your toilets. Ever. Golden children get gifts, Leia muttered, trying to sound sarcastic. Remember? Jason actually laughed. Max was in the hallway, listening to everything. I caught his eye. I nodded. My mom grabbed the paper, scanning it like it was a personal insult. This is ridiculous, she said. We're family. We don't do contracts. I pointed to the tree in the corner of our living room. The one we bought for $20 off a lot 2 nights ago. Lopsided, lights uneven. We're family, I said. And we also don't make one set of kids the help. Leia snapped. You're making a scene. I gestured toward the signed page on the table. The scene is a signature away from ending. There's a silence right before people decide who they are. Jason whispered something to Leia about leverage. My mom looked at Max and Ava, then at me. For a second, I thought she might see it. How small they'd made our kids feel. Then her face shut, like a heavy door slamming. She pushed the paper back across the table. No, okay, I said. 30 minutes. Jason snorted. You can't just toss us. I'm not, I said. I'm asking you to collect what's yours. The rest stays here, and I'll photograph and catalog it, and store it in the shed for 30 days. After that, it's donated. Petty, Leia said again. Policy, I said. She looked past me, toward the kitchen. At least you can make coffee. Sure, I said. We have mugs. You can keep the Santa plates. They are labeled, Mom. Mira poured coffee for us. Not for them. Leia rolled her eyes. My mom called me selfish 3 times in a row, like it was a spell that might wake the old me. It didn't. At 8:01 a.m., Jason hauled the first box to his car, muttering about lawyers. Leia grabbed the craft bin and said to the kids, Auntie will remember this. The twins walked through our living room like tourists, taking pictures of nothing. My mom stood in the doorway at the end, her eyes wet. You'll regret this, she said. I already regret not doing it sooner, I replied. There's a kind of quiet that doesn't feel empty. After they left, the house felt like that. We made cinnamon toast. Max fed the dog a corner when he thought I wasn't looking. Ava stuck bows in her hair and told me I did a decent job with boundaries, which made Mira laugh into her mug. Are we in trouble? Max asked, his brow furrowed. No, I said, pulling him close. We're in control. I spent the next hour with my phone and my shoebox of receipts. I took pictures of the boxes before they left and saved them to a folder labeled Inventory. I emailed the simple agreement again. I sent a separate message to the family thread. No one is barred from seeing the kids. We will not attend gatherings where our kids are treated like staff. Then I put my phone on silent and watched Home Alone because I needed to see someone else set traps for a while. By noon, the extended family started texting. My aunt. Your mother is devastated. My cousin. Leia says you threatened to evict. Jason. You'll hear from our attorney. Mom. You ruined Christmas. Leia. The twins are crying. Happy, I wrote back. The twins will be fine. Max and Ava will be better than fine. Then I put the phone face down again. At 2 p.m., the family group chat lit up with screenshots. Leia had posted on Facebook about toxic relatives who weaponized paperwork. My mom commented, some people forget who fed them. Jason posted, contracts are for corporations, not kin. Mira took my phone. No replying, she said. Not today. We went for a walk. The air was sharp, and the sidewalks were noisy with salt. Max asked the real questions. What happens if Grandma doesn't sign? Then her stuff stays in the shed for a month, and we donate it. I said, will she hate us? Ava asked, her voice small. She'll be mad. I said, hate is a big word. We don't use it. We use boundaries and consequences, which are boring words, but they work. You're not boring, Ava said, which I will remember until I can't remember anything. That night, I drove. Christmas night drunks are different. Less mean, more tender. People tip big because they feel like they should. I said, Merry Christmas, more than I meant it, and listened to a guy cry quietly into his sleeve because his girlfriend's parents called him the wrong kind of smart. At 11:40 p.m., I picked up a woman from a hotel who'd been waiting outside because her sister made a comment that stuck. She told me, I wish I'd said something. I told her, there's still time. Between rides, I checked my email. Leia's attorney had sent a message, not a law firm address, just a Gmail with a signature that said consultant. He mentioned defamation. I replied with the PDF again, plus a note. No public statements have been made. We are enforcing property and access rules in a respectful manner. If you have a valid legal claim, address it here. Then I blocked the number. The next morning, my mother came to the house at 8 a.m. She knocked, which felt like a small miracle. I opened the door. She stood on the porch in her robe, hair uncombed, looking smaller than I'm used to seeing her. "Arnold," she said softly, "you made your point." "This isn't a point," I said. "It's a plan." "Let me in," she said. "I can make you coffee," I said. "And we can sit, but it's only talking. No yelling." She looked past me, like I was blocking her from a sale. "Fine," she said. She sat at the table. Mira poured coffee into a regular mug, not the world's best mom one. My mother looked at the mug like it was an insult. "I did what I did for the twins," she said after a minute, her voice quiet. "They need a head start." "So do Max and Ava," I replied. "You have your pride," she said, as if it were a flaw. "They don't need Macbooks. They needed not to be handed toilet brushes while the twins opened them," I said. She winced. "That was a joke. It wasn't funny," Mira said, her voice gentle but steady. "The kids heard it. So did we." My mother took a breath like she was going underwater. "Fine," she said. "What do you want?" "Respect," I said. "In practice, not in speeches. That means no chore assignments to our kids in your house. No comments that make them small. Fairness with gifts, or skip the gifting entirely and let them all play a board game. And stop using me as an ATM. Don't be crude," she said, her cheeks reddening. "It's accurate," I said. "Last year, I paid for your new water heater because you said you were tapped out. 2 weeks later, you helped Leia with a down payment on a car after she totaled hers texting. You told me to be happy for family when I asked about the heater. That's not helping. That's me subsidizing you so you can subsidize Leia." Her jaw moved. She didn't deny it. She stared at the coffee, then at her hands. "I will sign your paper," she said finally, like the words had splinters. "But I'm not." She paused, swallowed. "I'm not apologizing for wanting the best for the twins. You don't have to apologize to me for loving them," I said. "Just don't do it by stepping on mine." She looked at me for a long time. "You've changed." "I got tired," I said. "Tired of explaining my dignity." At the door, she stopped. "Your father never." "Dad left?" I said, not mean, not loud. "He doesn't get to be part of the example." She nodded. For once, she didn't try to get the last word. She went home, and I sent her the DocuSign link again. 90 minutes later, I had her signature. Leia didn't sign. Jason sent 3 more emails about principles and family law. I filed them in a folder labeled Noise and put their stuff in the shed. After 30 days, I donated the craft bins to a community center and the Santa plates to a thrift store. Might be petty, might be policy. Felt like both. Word got around. An uncle called to say, "I heard you threw your mother out of her own house." I made a rule, I said. "We can eat dinner anytime." At school pickup, a mom I barely knew said, "I saw a post. Are you okay?" "We're good," I said. And it was true. The house felt lighter. Mira slept like she hadn't in months. Max asked if he could try coding on the library's old desktops, and I said, "Yeah, and we'll save for a used laptop." Ava wrote a list called Family Rules and taped it to the fridge. Rule number 1 was no toilet talk. I took more night shifts, not because I had to, but because I wanted to. The meter ticked, the city hummed, and I thought about boundaries like curbs. They keep tires from shredding. They don't make the car prettier. They make it possible to get home. 2 weeks later, my mom texted a photo of the twins doing homework at their kitchen table with a caption, "No more screens." I don't know if that was for me or for the internet. I hearted it anyway. We went to Sunday dinner at her place the week after. Mira brought salad. The table had 4 plates and a 5th for me. None for the twins yet. My mom stopped them at the kitchen threshold and said, "Hands, wash 'em. Then, set your own places." She looked at me quickly, like she was checking a mirror. The twins washed their hands. Max and Ava took out Jenga. I breathed. After dessert, my mom pulled me aside. "You know, you didn't have to get legal," she said, her voice still a little prickly. "I did," I said, because words weren't working. She nodded, a small, almost imperceptible dip of her head. "I'll try to be fair, Arnold." "Try hard," I said. And for the first time in a long time, it didn't feel like a threat or a plea. It felt like a guideline. A week ago, I dropped an airport fare at 5 a.m. and watched planes lift off like disciplined birds. On the drive back, I took the long route by the river. The sky was just turning that bruised color before day. I parked for a minute. Heater on, hands loose on the wheel. I thought about the line Max asked me. Is this normal? And the line I gave back. Not for long. I didn't mean one day we'd be rich. I meant one day we'd decide what normal is. And we did. Normal now is boring. It's great. It's Mira and me at the kitchen table with coffee that isn't stretched, bills paid on time, without a sigh of resentment. A calendar that says Max Chess, and Avo Art, and Mira's night off. It's Sunday dinner at my mother's where the twins bring a board game and my kids don't bring scrub brushes. It's me driving nights because I like the quiet, not because I'm chasing a hole I can't fill. I didn't burn the bridge. I put guardrails on it. People drive differently when there's a drop-off and no railing. The railing says, I care enough to make this safe. My mom still has moments. She sent a link last night to a gifted camp and asked if Max even likes computers. I typed, he likes fairness. Then I deleted it and wrote, he likes puzzles. Thanks. Small victories count. Leia hasn't forgiven me. That's okay. I didn't do it for forgiveness. I did it because my kids needed to see me put my body between them and a bad pattern. They needed to watch me choose us. This morning, as I was tying my shoes, Max asked, Dad, do you think we'll get Macbooks one day? Maybe, I said. But first, we'll get a good used one that does the job, and we'll take care of it. And no one will make you scrub a toilet to earn it. He grinned. Deal. Ava stuck a sticker on my sleeve. For luck, she said. It was a little taxi. I drove my first fare to a hospital. She was quiet, eyes puffy like she hadn't slept. Halfway there, she said, family, like a question that didn't need detail. I said, yeah. She nodded, like that was the whole language. At a red light, I thought, if my mother tells someone I'm ungrateful, maybe I am. I'm ungrateful for the lesson that love comes with humiliation. I'm ungrateful for the kind of loyalty that makes kids small. I'm grateful for the chance to unlearn it. The house title sits in a folder now, not as a weapon, but as a reminder. I did what I had to do. I didn't do it perfectly. I did it clean. If you need a moral, it's not clever. It's simple. I don't let anyone use my kids to prop up someone else's story. Not strangers. Not family. Not even my mother. And when someone says, golden children get gifts, yours get chores, I say, not anymore. Then I put the car in drive, check my mirrors, and just keep going. Have you ever had to draw a line in the sand with your family, even when it felt incredibly difficult? What made you finally say enough is enough? I'd love to hear your experiences in the comments below.